Pro Tools remains the standard in any high-level studio or, if you go into a room, especially stateside, it is the standard.
First of all, if you don't know, Cruz is what's the best way? It's so hard to put something on a name, man. You did so much, bro, but you've been an engineer, you've been working on hip-hop for a very long time. You worked with Meek Mill, J. Cole, DJ Khaled, Ed Sheeran, and now you just actually got appointed A&R manager at Roc Nation as well. So that's huge, man. Like, congratulations, bro.
Thank you, man.
That's massive. But I'd love to get an introduction to who is Anthony Cruz.
Yeah, I've been in the business for a while. My first track professionally after school, I went to Full Sail, and long story short, made my way up to New York, and hustling a couple of jobs to get some money together to actually be able to survive in New York, and stumbled into an internship at Roc the Mic Studios, which was run by Jay-Z and his partners in 2010. And that jump-started everything. I worked under Stargate, who was in the B Room, who did, numerous hits. You could, kind of go through their catalog. My first session was with Neo. Mary J. Blige was in the B Room, so much talent was in and out of that studio. But fast forward to about 2013, I ended up hitting the road with Meek Mill. I started during Dream Chasers 3 mixtape and did every project up until this collab album with Rick Ross. And now I'm fortunate to be at the Roc Nation School as an adjunct instructor and also A&R manager at Roc Nation. So it's been a hell of a journey, kind of full circle, coming back around to the Roc Nation family. They embraced me. I asked for a new challenge. I always idolized Jimmy Iovine and kind of, what he's shown for people coming in the game as an engineer who's worked with incredible legends, like John Lennon, and being the mogul that he is, I've always admired that and wanted that to be kind of my blueprint of how I maneuver in this music business.
What a journey, bro. What a journey. And I feel like I've been following you for a while, man. So it's been great and amazing to see you go from because people think like engineering is like the last thing and that's it, right?
Yeah.
But you're the perfect example of like that. It doesn't really stop there. Working with the big eyes doesn't stop there. It goes with something else. And then like you said, bro, like giving back. Again, Lennon Bus, so important because it's like giving back to the community, helping others basically get to the position or somewhere else or whatever it might be. So I think it's very important to share that voice, man, as well. Tell me how your journey actually started. So before obviously working with Meek Mill, it wasn't just you got working with an artist, bro. It was like there's a lot more to it. So how was that journey at the start?
There has always been that love for music. I think we all, people that as creatives, whether, just having that initial love for music, and the people that actually want to jump in and take the journey into that world, figuring out kind of where you fit in. We all kind of start in one place and maybe pivot to another. I started off with the love of production early on, and once I realized I wasn't going to go anywhere necessarily as a producer, I fell in love with engineering and started studying, my brother Guru, Bruce Sedin, Jimmy Douglas, all these legends, and figuring out, Jimmy Iovine as well, just figuring out kind of how they impacted music. They're, engineers are a very critical part of what we do in music. They're the heartbeat of the industry, in my opinion. And so falling in love with that side, when I tell you I jumped in, and just kind of took a major risk and said, yo, I'm on this corporate hustle, but it's not what I want to do in life. I just gave up with everything that I was doing at the time and went to Full Sail. So, I quit my job. I was at a corporate job at Verizon, quit my job, broke my lease at my apartment, took that journey to Florida and did a program at Full Sail and just said, I have to go all in to not give myself any option to backtrack on what my goal is to get into music. So from there, like I said, I moved up to New York. Initially I was in Connecticut with family and was, commuting back and forth until that internship came through, and the rest is history.
Wow, man. That's amazing, bro. And how important is like education to you now? Like obviously you're teaching. I was lucky enough to go to the School of Roc Nation.
Yeah, Roc Nation School of Music, which is partnered under LIU University. An incredible program. You know, I just joined this year. Shout out to Guru for the opportunity. Incredible facility, as you've seen. The Dolby Room. It's the first ever Asperger Dolby Room in the world on our campus. And having students learn the art of engineering, mixing, you know, in Dolby and stereo and all these, you know, having access to this level of equipment early on. I mean, imagine that, you know, first coming in the game and learning in the best state-of-the-art facility, and also having access to other smaller production rooms and things like that, and state-of-the-art teaching facilities. And so it's amazing to be a part of this program. You know, we have an amazing faculty. You know, Guru is the is the head of the music tech program, so he oversees all of that, and I work directly with him. I started teaching record company operations, which is the ins and outs of the industry. You know, teaching you how to make your money, you know, the business side. And this year I'm more on the technical side, so I'm teaching music tech and production class, and also foundations of recording. I'm able to utilize this room and have my students kind of work on records as I'm teaching them the art of engineering and mixing techniques and things like that. So it's very cutting edge and forward thinking in terms of where music is headed. They're very aware of that, which is, you know, hence the Dolby Room that they introduced. So just honored to be a part of that program while simultaneously working now at Roc Nation.
That's amazing, man. And let me ask you a question about people getting started on Pro Tools and Atmos. Like, you know, what's your advice for someone who's going to be getting started, wants to follow your journey or kind of, you know, be on the same path or similar path, or what's your advice to someone starting out?
I think the advice for people starting out, I think nowadays, the blessing that you guys have, people that are just kind of getting started or trying to figure out what we want to do in music, there's a lot more access to information. There's a lot more, especially when we were coming up, it was like, you know, I think I was like in the early side of when Pensado's place started and things like that. But nowadays, it's like, forget about it. You got Wavy Wayne, you got all these different platforms of people that teach you real live techniques of how things go. So even before you jump into, you know, an education platform, just kind of learning different techniques and having access to YouTube University and, you know, things like that. Like, it's a lot easier for you to jump in and really understand and learn certain aspects of the business. So, you know, I think that's a blessing for you guys and all the, you know, advances in technology and things like that. But having said that, there's no shortcuts. I mean, you have to put in the work, you have to put in the time to really dive in and learn. And the fact that it is so easy to get in means that there's a lot more competition, right? So you have to find ways to keep yourself kind of competitive and, you know, really learn your craft and study and, you know, really take it seriously. You know what I mean?
Tell me why you kind of began using Pro Tools, and why now, to this day, would you advise someone to learn Pro Tools?
To be honest, when I first started, I didn't know how to use Pro Tools. It came with my Inbox Mini, and so that's where I started. It was the little small blue Inbox Mini, yeah. So that was my my start, and I didn't even know how to find the transport. I didn't understand how to properly use the software, and that's what I'm saying about people today. You can actually...
But the resources were minimal then, right?
Yeah,
there was nothing out there. Like, compared to now, like now you can get the door and just put yourself in it and learn.
Exactly. But the thing is that, you know, in terms of Pro Tools and what I teach my students, of course it's great to know these different DAWs that we have access to, but Pro Tools remains the standard in any high-level studio or, you know, if you go into a room, especially stateside, it is the standard. So and it's important to know.
It's like the universal language, though, right? You can go to any country and they'll know Pro Tools.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
It's always there.
100%.
Well, Cruz, I want to open it up to the floor a little bit as well. But before I do that, actually, how can people get in touch with you and also learn more about the school as well?
The school is Roc Nation School. You can, you know, look it up. We're online across all social media platforms. And then as far as like getting in contact with me, I'm on social media. Break It Down, that's Break It DWN. You can connect with me on Instagram. And yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah.
So
Thank you, man. Appreciate this.
No,
too.
thank
This is
you,
great.
bro. No, it's
And
awesome.
on
I was going to say,
John
John
Lennon's
Lennon's birthday is
shout out to that. I mean, that's absolutely incredible how
Massive.
that happened.
Yeah.
So honored to be
Yeah.
here, you
Yeah.
know, and share the stage with you.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Cruz. I want to ask, any questions for Cruz over here? Does anyone have any questions?
That you did that made you stand out, that got you the connections that you really wanted to get?
I could say honestly, kind of part of the way that I was raised is I was around a lot of high-level clientele, as you can imagine, coming in and out of the studio. But the way that I was raised is to treat everybody like a normal person. I think, you know, if you do get into those opportunities of being able to be around a certain level of clientele, just treating everybody as a regular person, right? Not, you know, and respecting them on that front. You know what I mean? I've always been a very personal person. I've always honored my relationships. I treasure relationships on all levels. And, you know, I think it's very important to respect people and treat people a certain way that they remember you, you know, and how you made them feel and things like that. Like that goes a long way, you know, because there's people that they kind of put their nose in the air at you and things like that. It's like, you know, treat people with respect. And, you know, if you meet them in a place of like, you know, you're doing a certain service for them, obviously, you know, to do the best job possible, to want them to come back and work with you. I think there's no shortcut in things like that.
For you, how do you manage wearing multiple hats?
I think the important thing is I also have a family, which is like probably top of the priority list. But it's just kind of managing all your opportunities, and you know, we have 24 hours in the day, and it's maximizing that time, right? So even though I have these things and it looks like a lot, if you manage everything properly and understand how much time you need to give yourself to prepare for your classes or to prepare for meetings that you're gonna have, things like that, is what sets you up for success and allows you to open the door for further and future opportunities. Because, you know, one of the things that you know, we run a lot across a lot of like quote pages and things like that on social media. And one of the things is like, you know, to kind of get over the fear of a new challenge and putting extra things on your plate, because that's only going to make you stronger and make you better instead of running away from those challenges. So I've always, you know, prided myself on that, you know, taking these things seriously and, you know, managing all these different hats that I'm wearing, and, you know, yeah.
What's a secret weapon for the crispest vocals?
The crispest vocals? For me, I had a student of mine ask me about this, and I understand kind of where we're at in the age of technology and things being in the box, but to me, the crispest vocal, I think you get with analog gear. I have to be honest, like it's, you know, not everybody has access to that, and that's okay. But just to answer your question, I think is having access to, you know, to incredible gear selection, and, you know, I don't think there's anything that matches an analog recorded vocal, you know, going through the proper mic and you know, preamp and compressor. I personally use Need 1073 into TubeTech CO1B. It's like an industry thing, but to me it's amazing. LA2A. So having access to those things, I don't think you can perfectly match that in the box. So that's just, you know, and I know that's not something that everybody has access to, but that to me is like the best level, you know, whatever you ever get to on all that.
Perfect, Cruz. Thank you, man. Guys, this
Thank you,
massive round of applause for Cruz, please.
I wish I had something to give away, man. That does, you know. But I appreciate you guys, you know, sticking around. And again, thank
Massive
you.
thank you to.
I appreciate you having me in mind. Thank you to
Lennon Bus,
you know,
as
the
well.
Lennon Bus.
Lennon Bus. Yeah.
This is incredible, you know, what you guys are doing. This is amazing. The bus looks great. If you guys have a chance, please check it out. Imagine being on this thing on the road, like all the
Exactly what I thought. Like,
unbelievable.
It's
And
amazing.
do Atmos mix.
Yeah.
You know, like that's great.
amazing. Thank you,
man.
Cruz. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, as well. Thank you.